Thank you for joining us for National Transgender HIV Testing Day, a virtual experience. My name is Renz Uson, and I am the PrEP Navigator at San Francisco Community Health Center, welcoming you to our presentation tonight. Thank you for allowing us into your homes this evening. National Transgender HIV Testing Day is an observance designed to recognize the importance of routine HIV testing, status awareness, and continued focus on HIV prevention and treatment efforts among transgender people. The UCSF Transgender Center of Excellence partnered with the CDC to establish and promote the National Transgender HIV Testing Day as part of their work for the HIV Prevention Capacity Building Assistance Network. I am truly honored to be your hostess this evening. This day is especially important to me as a PrEP provider and as a member of the transgender community. Our purpose for this year's NTHTD is to provide a platform where community members can learn about accessible resources so they can get tested, receive their current HIV status, and link to community engagement activities like weekly support groups, peer-to-peer counseling, and case management. Tonight, we will be showcasing community talent, providing information on local and accessible high-impact HIV prevention resources during this time of COVID-19, and highlight our community organizations and the important work that they do. Before we begin, we would like to take this moment to recognize our community partners. From SF Collaborative, Para TransLatinas, and Instituto Familar de la Raza, UCSF Alliance Health Project, SF Team, which stands for the San Francisco Transgender Empowerment Advocacy and Mentorship, San Francisco AIDS Foundation, Gender Health SF, APINC, Gilead. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and Arm the Girls. Sephora Stands at Sephora. ATED, formerly AIDS Project of East Bay. Lyric Center for LGBTQ Youth. San Francisco Pride. Project Pilot. The Transgender District. Office of Transgender Initiatives. St. James Infirmary, Folks Health telehealth company for queer and trans folks. Thank you to our community partners and their support. This evening could not be done without you all. Now, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce our first performer of the night, the talented, the gorgeous, always shining bright like the star that she is, and an inspiration to a lot of girls who dream.
Okay, girls. Let's show them how it's done. It ain't over.
Hey, gente chida de la comunidad transgénero y la gente bonita del San Francisco Community Health Center. Yo soy Ofelia Pastrana, la explicatriz. ¿Sabían que el Día Nacional de la Prueba de VIH para las personas transgénero es el domingo 18 de abril? Es importante siempre tener conciencia que los esfuerzos de prevención del VIH para las comunidades transgénero y en general nos ayudan mucho. Hazte la prueba, habla del tema y démonos mucho amor.
For people living with HIV, keep being you and ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in certain adults. It's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex.
Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take dofetilide or rifampin. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your doctor. Common side effects were diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
If you're living with HIV, keep loving who you are and ask your doctor if Biktarvy is right for you.
Hey guys, Lucas here. We are raising awareness for National Transgender HIV Testing Day. So, on April 18th, SFCHC is providing free incentivized rapid HIV tests, PrEP navigation, and counseling. So make sure to get tested and know your status.
And I am back. Thank you so much, Naya Cruz, for that wonderful performance. Your dress is absolutely gorgeous, and you're a shining star for our community members, and we're so grateful to have you light up the virtual stage this evening as well. We also would like to recognize Ophelia Pastrana and Lucas Elliott, as well as our friends at Gilead, especially Michaela and Michael. Thank you so much for your support. Now, are you all ready for our second performance this evening? I know I am. So let's call on our next performer. Now this girl. This girl is truly one of a kind. A trailblazer at such a young age, we already see her dedication and passion for leading major projects like TDOV. I am very honored to introduce to you all the one and only Rexy.
Desde pequeña supe que era una mujer diferente. Claro, en el cuerpo que no elegí. Crecí, viví así sin decírselo a mis padres, pues tuve pena y vergüenza. Mi madre me pedía comportarme como hombre, pero ¿cómo? Si yo soy una mujer. Crecí, tuve que aguantar todo lo que pasaba. Nadie podía ayudarme ni entenderme. Me fui de México. Sabía que mi libertad estaba fuera de ahí. ¿Cuál fue mi sorpresa? Me aclararon que aquí debía olvidar esa manera amanerada de vivir, que ya era tiempo de ser el hombre que Dios había enviado. Nuevamente me encaraba a mi realidad. Me había seguido. No me importó. Estaba lejos. Lejos de los que me habían hecho daño. Mientras buscaba el amor que me hacía falta, caía en el sexo que llenaba mis ansias de ser amada. Eran momentos donde me sentí la mujer más enamorada del universo. Mis mentiras me llenaban. Un día llegó aquel que me dio confianza y el amor que buscaba. Era el mundo perfecto que soñé. Di todo sin sentir que me desarmaba toda. Probé miel. Me entregué sin importarme nada. Él me había inyectado aliento suyo hasta adueñarse de mí. Me vi atrapada. Reaccioné. Era demasiado tarde. Su veneno crecía en mí. Me di cuenta. Quise huir muchas veces. Y él me acorraló tantas veces hasta casi matarme. Quiso matarme al saber que quería huir. Me di cuenta de todo. Ya estaba atada a una parte de él. Caí, tropecé, hasta que encontré la salida. Pude irme y encontrarme otra vez. Creí que sería demasiado tarde para comenzar una vez más. Pero no. Cuando tropecé, lo hice yo misma. Ahora era el momento de volar. Ese momento nunca llega tarde. Siempre llega cuando de veras se quiere. Y aquí estoy, ahora, lista para sobrepasar cualquier otra batalla. Porque ahora tengo la fuerza para salir. Aprendí a quererme a mí misma.
Gender Health SF is your partner in accessing quality gender-affirming healthcare. We're peer-led, we value compassion and community investment, and provide care regardless of immigration status or lack of income. To learn more, please check out our website at www.sfdph.org/genderhealthsf.
Hi, this is Apple May, and I hope you're safe. It's April, and it means National Transgender HIV Testing Day is approaching on Sunday, April 18th. Take some time to take care of yourself and get tested at San Francisco Community Center. Ciao.
For over 30 years at San Francisco Community Health Center, we've been striving and we have been providing the most comprehensive continuum of care, not just for the HIV community, but for the LGBTQ community, the trans community, and most recently the homeless community. This is our goal, is to ensure that we have as comprehensive, as holistic, and whole person-centered care as possible.
Here at San Francisco Community Health Center, we treat the whole person. Our team complies behavioral health, dental, case management, outreach workers, the medical providers, of course, programs, even the people who cook the meals for our patients.
I think what makes San Francisco Community Health Center so magical is that there's really nothing like this anywhere else.
Our philosophy as an organization is that we never give up. We do whatever it takes to serve our clients in the most comprehensive, culturally competent manner possible.
From the minute that I walked into this clinic, I knew that it was different because of the sense of community that this clinic offers.
There is nowhere else that you can arrive and be greeted by somebody who looks like you or who has had a similar experience as you, who can connect you to a provider who's just going to be super responsive to your needs.
Being able to come in here without feeling any type of stigma, without feeling like I'm less than or ostracized or just being picked on for being who I was is the greatest reward.
20 years ago, when I came out as who I am, there were really no services available, and I was seeking services for myself. And when I landed here at San Francisco Community Health Center, I just kind of like opened a treasure chest where all of these services are available for me. And I want each and every one who comes to our door to experience that.
Our outreach team is grounded in the fact that our clients' needs are urgent.
My team works with some of the hardest to reach. The folks here in San Francisco in the Tenderloin that are suffering incredibly. And we do the most amazing job because I have a talented, skillful, compassionate, empathic team.
You know, imagine you're this person who lives outside in a tent, who has so much distrust in the medical system because you've been turned away, you know, time after time when you've tried to get help. And your things were stolen the night before, you haven't slept, you don't have any food, and someone from our team approaches you to try and give you something that you actually need and make you feel like your life is valued, because we actually bring our services to the folks that we serve out in the community on our outreach team.
Actually going and finding people and meeting them where they are and really taking the resources and knowledge and information that we have.
And we tell them that we'll be back tomorrow if you're not ready to come in yet. And we remind them that their life matters.
There's a special sauce here at San Francisco Community Health Center. What we do together when we're here in our office is we celebrate, we laugh together, and we actually create a culture of joy.
That was such a moving performance from you, Rexy. Thank you for your dedication to our community and your recent work for this year's Transgender Day of Visibility. If you all haven't seen the presentation Rexy and her team had put together for the live-streamed event, please do check it out. We would also like to express our sincere gratitude to SF Team, Gender Health SF, as well as my home, San Francisco Community Health Center, for their continued support. These organizations are doing amazing work for our community right here in the city and the Bay Area. It is such an honor to be working alongside you all. Moving along to our next performer this evening, who happens to be also featured in New York Times, sharing her work as a mental health advocate here at San Francisco. Never afraid to tell it like it is, and never afraid to live out her truth. Let's all welcome together this gem to our virtual stage, Pearl Teeth.
You better
Hello, San Francisco Community Health Center wants to empower the transgender community to get tested as we approach National Transgender HIV Testing Day on April 18th. We want to bring awareness to accessible services around the nation that folks can access so that they know their status. Do you know your status? Remember, trans is beautiful and we support you 365 days a year.
It's time to step up, prep up.
Step up, prep up.
To help keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, there's another PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine that helps lower the chances of getting HIV through sex. It's not for everyone. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people assigned female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
Prep up for your one and only love, or many loves. For kings, this queen, and you royals in between. For my now.
Our now.
And my future. Our future.
Step up, prep up. Descovy is another way to prep. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV, and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up,
prep up.
With Descovy for PrEP.
Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
That was a serve, Pearl. Thank you so much for that performance. And be on the lookout for my call because I need those looks in my closet. And thank you to Taylor Leanne Chandler and Shalaman for taking time out of their schedules to join us tonight. And thank you to our neighbors out in the East Bay, APEB, and a special shout out to our girl, Fifi. Keep doing that amazing work. We see you, girl. Now, I have the absolute honor to welcome a special performance all the way from the islands of Hawaii. Bianca Tasaka, who is a prevention healthcare specialist on the island of Kauai, will be performing a beautiful hula for this evening. Please give a warm aloha to Bianca.
Like
like a trade wind blowing. Soon you will be far across the sea, flying. Soon you will be flying like a teardrop drying, leaving just a memory. Misty eyes, looking many miles away. No time left to analyze, apologize, no more to say. Stay a while, linger just a minute more. Let me see that winning star, that little smile you always wore. Going like in the tide flowing, like a trade wind blowing. Soon you will be far across the sea, flying. Soon you will be flying like a teardrop drying, leaving just a memory. Flying, soon you will be flying like a teardrop drying, leaving just a memory.
Hello, San Francisco Community Health Center, and happy National Transgender HIV Testing Day. This is Ari Swanzer, and I'm phenomenally trans, as are all of you. Now go get tested and know your status.
In March, when the shutdown here in San Francisco happened, we never stopped serving our clients. From the very beginning of this pandemic, it was very clear that the need was definitely going to increase. So many of our clients were already on the margins. We had to suspend some of the services. For example, our mobile HIV testing services were suspended. However, we pushed totally forward with all of our psychotherapy services and moved them totally online. We've certainly learned some lessons with our telehealth. We've been able to reach even more clients who were being underserved. And really, what we saw from our staff here is that nothing would ever stop us. Some of our medical staff were scheduled for retirement, and they said the AIDS epidemic defined the beginning of my career, and now this is defining the end. I am not retiring right now. Your donations help us to really expand our infrastructure to expand our HIV and STD testing services, to get even more involved with our technology to expand our telehealth services. We've never stopped serving during this pandemic, and with your donations, we won't stop.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to National Trans HIV Testing Awareness Day live stream brought to you by SF Wellness. This is We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. My name is Gorilla Pump, and I'm here with my special friend guest, daughter collective member, Nikita. And we got a cute little set for you today. Trigger warning, we're Black, we're queer, we're trans, we are unapologetic, and we are not afraid. There is cussing, there's the mention of violence, dicks, pussies, and all that good stuff. So let's get it started.
Yeah. Hello, y'all. I'm Nikita. Nice. How is everybody doing? Let's get it started. People that look just like me out here living with HIV. You know it's not fucking cool, but yeah, these queens went to school. People try them every day. Don't you know they always slay? They are sexy queens. Get in the backseat. They running around town in this beginning scene. Ow! Trans girls run this world. Let's jump up and do a twirl. Walk for me, yeah, twirl for me. Walk for me, yeah, twirl for me. You know we couldn't see. Make these bitches mad. I know they fucking sad. Went around the corner to fuck someone's dad. Say, daddy, then be your addy. I know you got a fatty, addy, 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 ha, 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 come down my throat. I'm a sucker now. It's gonna feel good while I'm listening like a cow. I'd rather be a bitch than a motherfucking snitch. If you come for us, we'll find you in the ditch. Ha! We'll find you in the ditch. Meow! Practice safe sex. You know that it's good. Don't let these damn dudes show you their woods. Ah! Don't let these dudes show you their woods. Meow! Ha! 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 Tell these boys to wrap it up before I have to slap them up. Ha! Our bodies are so good, don't be misunderstood. Wrap it up, slurp it up, 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 wrap it up, ah! Wrap it up, hey, slurp it up, wrap it up, slurp it up, slurp it up, wrap it up, hey, slurp it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, slurp it up, wrap it up, slurp it up, slurp it up. Hey, practice safe sex. 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 Yeah, I'm talking to you. Practice safe sex. Practice safe sex. Ha! Practice safe sex. Yeah. Practice safe sex. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Yes, yes, feminine what? Yes, what? Yes, DJ Mikey, what? Feminine soft cunt to the hot. Feminine soft cunt to the what? Feminine soft cunt to the hot. Don't you hear me calling? Miss Honey, 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 Miss Honey.
Wow, Nikita, oh my God, so amazing. Everyone give it up for Nikita Lewis. Hey!
Hello, thanks for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoyed
our little performance that we prepared for you. Thank you, SF Wellness, for having us. My name is Gorilla Pump, and I'm a founding member of a creative collective known as We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. We're based out of the East Bay, and we have a fundraising platform organizing for emergency mutual aid for Black and Brown, queer, and trans people here in the Bay Area. In December, we launched an initiative with our friends at Visibility in San Francisco called Arm the Girls. And it's an initiative that is raising emergency support to protect Black and Brown, queer, and trans femmes with safety and love and protection from our community. We were able to raise $50,000 since December. $40,000 of those dollars went out in emergency mutual aid payments. That's direct payments to people who really need it. And we also bought a shitload of tasers, pepper spray, and self-defense kits for a lot of people. So I'm just going to show you what the self-defense kit looks like. And if you need one, just message us on We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For on Instagram, and we'll make sure that you get one. So I want to shout out to Telfar Global for donating 50 bags to our initiative. We were able to give out 50 designer bags with the self-defense kits. So shout out to y'all, we love you. All our self-defense kits come in this really cute holographic makeup bag. So cute. Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's super gorgeous.
So you can put self-defense kit items, but also your makeup or like whatever else you need for your on the go. And the first item that we're going to show you is the ViperTech 881. So this is a taser. It has two functions. It has a flashlight function, and then it has a taser function. It also has two prongs built in so that you can charge it. The charge lasts really long, so you don't really have to charge it that often. And yeah, so that's item number one. And then our second thing in the self-defense kit is the 3-in-1 automotive protection tool. Oh, let me get the case. So this is an item used by Sabre, which is the #1 brand used by police. It's a pepper gel with automotive extraction tools. It has 5 times the amount of pepper spray than regular pepper spray things. There's also a window breaker on the bottom, and there is a seatbelt cutter as well on the clip. So if you're in a car and the seatbelt is not functioning, you need to escape, you can just like go like this, and it'll cut the seatbelt, and you can smash the window if you need to escape. And we really, we hope that people don't ever have to use these items, but there's so much violence that our community is experiencing disproportionately, and this is why we're doing this. Okay, the next item is a personal sound alarm. It's made by a China brand called Vigo Road. So this sound alarm has 130 decibels. It's super loud. It can be heard for quite a few blocks, like 3 or 4 blocks away. It helps if you need help or to maximize attention. And it can effectively scare attackers if you're in danger and help you seek people close by if you need emergency assistance. There's also a flashlight option. It's wide angle. And it's really super durable, and the battery lasts forever, so yeah. There's also antibacterial spray and a 2-inch knife in the self-defense kit. And if you are traveling with any of these items to another state, just please make sure to look up the laws wherever you're traveling to. So in Chicago, for example, there's a mutual aid organization called for self-defense. And to have a taser in Chicago, you need to have a right to carry card because a taser is considered a firearm. And in New York, it's illegal to purchase a taser. You can't even really buy one off Amazon. They won't ship it to you if you have a New York address. So if you're traveling with any of these items, or if you are tuning in from another state and you are interested in having a self-defense kit like this, just make sure you look at the laws in your local precincts or your state and your city, so that you don't get in trouble or get into more trouble if you get caught up with the cops and shit. Oh, and then also, all of our self-defense kits, most of them, depending on need, come with $300 in mutual aid, emergency mutual aid funding. So COVID-19 has hit our community really, really hard. And even before that, a lot of our community are underground creatives who work outside of capitalism. We work with a lot of sex workers and people who don't just have a regular 9 to 5, people who don't really have access to, real, like, quote unquote, capitalist office jobs. So we've been doing a lot of mutual aid work, and people who need it, we want to give them money directly. And yeah, $300 comes with most of our self-defense kits, depending on the need for the applicants. And if you would like more information, about our girls, please follow us on Instagram at We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. We also have an article out by SF8 and Vice.com. If you need a self-defense kit, please message us at We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. And if you would like to support our work, you can donate to the GoFundMe, our Venmo, or our Cash App in our link tree in our bio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to get tested. Know your status. Be safe. We love you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, thank you.
It has been an absolute honor to be your hostess for the evening. This is our second year putting NTHTD together virtually. And with that, we hope that you're safe from wherever you're watching us. Please continue to wear a mask, practice social distancing, get tested for both HIV and COVID-19, and if and when possible, get that vaccination so you can keep yourself and our beautiful community safe. Thank you again to our community partners for your ongoing support. When stand united, we can accomplish anything. Thank you to our performers, our guests, and all who have been part of the planning. Thank you to our video editor, Nico Stormont, for his support with putting this entire presentation together. We will be featuring Nico's film, Trans March, a look back at transgender history, shortly after this message, so please don't leave. This is something you don't want to miss. Last but certainly not least, thank you for allowing us into your homes this evening. Wherever you might be, we hope you know how loved and seen you are. This is again Renz Usan, your hostess, signing off and wishing you a safe and meaningful evening. Thank you for watching NTHTD 2021.
Every Friday since 2004, before San Francisco's annual Pride event, transgender people from all over the globe gather in Dolores Park to bring home the message that we deserve safety, love, and empowerment. However, the existence of Trans March is but a signifier of hope in an otherwise dark history. Hundreds of years before companies would adopt rainbow merchandise every June to entice their liberal consumers, the United States threw queer people to the shadows. From the inception of the United States, transgender people have been over-policed, and our stories have been misrepresented or erased entirely. Despite this, our existence has not wavered. Some of America's greatest heroes are absent in our classrooms and historical texts.
Darling, I want
want my gay rights now. I think it's about time the gay brothers and sisters got their rights, and especially the women.
So many names have been lost in the systemic erasure of our community, but our history is still unfolding. There is a phenomenon of misremembering that happens in these social movements, as if what is happening right now is inherently different from what has brought us liberation in the past. This is not an accident. Perhaps the most famous instance we can reference happened 50 years ago. Being queer was regarded as an underground culture for night dwellers, a place for the morally bankrupt sexual deviant. The United States had seen the beginnings of a sexual liberation movement in the 20s. This was squandered by the Great Depression and war as cultural ties began to reward adhering to the nuclear family, a white suburban household with 2.5 kids and a white picket fence. Under the guise of good American values, anything that didn't fit this conformity was directly seen as a communist threat. This gave way to the American sentiment that queerness was a mental disorder or a spiritual malady. However, within these cultures, a very different narrative was told. There were drag shows, dance parties, poetry, and art. Many communities took care of children who had been kicked out of their homes for being queer. It was clear this was a place of cultural renaissance and radical love, rather than heretical rampage.
For you, Miss Marshall, you
can lock yourself in a closet in a fine meat stove, but it really doesn't matter if you ain't got soap.
Come to the 1950s and 60s, the power was supposed to be with the people, and many were tired of the conformist attitudes.
I went out and tried to get a job as a woman. Yes. This doesn't work. You get a job, you work for a day or two, a week, a month, or whatever it boils down. Somebody comes along that recognizes you.
Queer individuals were no different. They had become fed up with the harsh police regulations on gender expression, along with the dangers of living in a transphobic and homophobic society. People were tired, and eventually there would be uprisings that erupted throughout the country in favor of change, namely the Cooper Donuts riots of LA, the Compton Cafeteria riots of San Francisco, and the Stonewall riots in New York City. These uprisings were violent protests against police, primarily led by trans women of color, who were often the largest targets of police violence against queer people. Queer liberation found a new home in the eyes of legislation and media. Progress was being made. Activists like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera started organizations like Gay Liberation Front and STAR, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. Both were the dream of a future where queer people could safely live their lives. Unfortunately, this isn't what happened. As the gay liberation movement picked up steam, it began to exclude the very people who had given it life. White cis gay men became the new face of gay liberation, and transgender women of color again were cast to the shadows. Not much changed for those who had given birth to this beautiful movement.
Nothing. I've been trying to get up here all day for your gay brothers and your gay sisters in jail. They write me every motherfucking week.
The queer narrative became a split one. One side of our community was fighting in legislation, media, representation, and public opinion. Another side of our community was being murdered with no justice and no seat at the table. While there are many more details in our transgender history, the story of Trans March begins when a yearly picnic erupted into a protest.
All right, when I say tranny, you say picnic, all right? Let's make it really loud so all these people that are barely dressed up there that think we're all freaks can hear us.
Gwen Amber Rose Araujo was an American Latina teenager whose life was cut short by 4 men when they discovered that she was transgender. To lessen their charges, the defendants used the trans panic defense, legitimizing transphobia in the courtroom. Unfortunately, this story was all too common. On the heels of Pride, the community in San Francisco decided we would not stand for another LGB event, and we were tired of our own events being cast to the side for other Pride celebrations. We deserve to be recognized, empowered, and safe. An email thread went around to local activists asking for organizing traction to ignite a protest at a yearly picnic celebrating the transgender community that had started 2 years earlier at Dolores Park. On the evening of Friday, June 26th, 2004, Trans March as we know it began, a protest to make our injustices heard.
My name is Cecilia Chung. I'm a community advocate. The first year of Trans March, the way it got started was really a group of us getting together to plan the trans altar in the Civic Center. And at the time, we heard about a mysterious flyer that was circling around the community telling people to show up on Friday at Dolores Park, but nobody would step up and take ownership of it. And because of that, we decided that we need to be a little bit more organized because we don't want that to turn into something that could be unsafe potentially.
My name is Luis Gutierrez Mock. So I was very insignificantly involved in the very first Trans March. It started for many different reasons. It was around the same time that the mistrial occurred in Gwen Araujo's murder case, and some people had started circulating an anonymous email trying to get a Trans March to happen in San Francisco, and those two events sort of coincided with each other. And I attended the first event in 2004, and it was really powerful. It was really beautiful. Just seeing the way that community came together, and there was definitely a lot of people carrying her in our hearts, and really thinking about how, as a community, can we respond to the intense amounts of transphobic hate violence that particularly transgender women of color face, not only in San Francisco, but really throughout the U.S. and the world.
Hi, I'm Janelle Lester. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am Program Associate for the Transgender District. Going to San Francisco Pride, I feel like I would experience a lot of transphobia. Lots of cis straight people would be at those events, and being there, they would call you names and all of those things. And Pride being something that is supposed to be a safe space for us, I stopped going. And so Trans March, once I found out about Trans March, it was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this and skip Pride.
Though we have come so far in gaining our liberation, it has not been enough, and there are many issues our community still struggles to address.
I will not be in spaces that I don't feel welcome in. And personally, I don't feel like Pride is welcoming in that way.
What's up? My name's Yanni. I identify as non-binary. I have they, them pronouns. 28. I'm a Taurus, triple Taurus. I'm from Oakland, California. I think that the community needs to remember the history of this country and what Black people have been through outside of being queer or being trans. I think that a lot of people in the queer community forget that because they're marginalized as well, and they want to equate the two, and they're not equal. It's not the same. So I think ways in which the community could help us is listening to us, listening to our stories, wanting to actually hear what we have to say and not be so quick to respond, but have an ear because they want to learn. They want to elevate our experiences, elevate what it is that we've gone through, and help us move to the next level. Use your privilege to push our Black community that is here, because we're not just dealing with being queer. We're dealing with being Black, and racism is a form of trauma that we have to deal with every day, So I think that to our other community members, love on us, stop being so scared or afraid of us. Like we want to just love and be and exist in this world just the same way that you do.
I became involved with the Trans March in 2009, mostly because I really loved the event and I was a little unsatisfied with sort of the diversity of the attendees at the event. And so I joined in order to increase the participation by transgender people of color and trans women. There were a lot of challenges that happened when the Trans March decided to try to work to increase the diversity of the event itself. First, I think, was getting other people on the steering committee to see how the steering committee itself can directly impact who attends and the way that outreach is conducted, things like who is invited to be on the stage. All of that really affects who feels comfortable attending the event. And there were also, I think, some bridges burned within communities that had to be repaired, and definitely a lot of community mobilization had to occur in order to help people feel safe and help people feel like it was their event again, and that the Trans March really was an inclusive space for trans people of color, for trans women, and really for everyone in the trans community and our allies.
My name is Rexy, or the one and only Rexy. I am 23. I am a drag performer here in San Francisco, as well as a community advocate. I've been a part of organizing ever since I first came out when I was in middle school. I was undocumented for a large portion of my life up until very recently. And I've been, in different capacities, been involved with Trans March. As a trans Latina, I've had to prove myself in different spaces. I've had to prove that even though English is not my first language, my words just have just as much of a meaning and importance and value as the words of those whose first language is English. Being able to be a part of Trans March while growing up really helped me with my discovery of my trans identity and my gender discovery and my gender journey.
There are many reasons why I think people should support Trans March. I think the most important one is because we have been holding the Transgender Day of Remembrance for years, remembering our dead, but we really don't have a space to celebrate the living.
Well, the Trans March for me is a coming together of our communities, the transgender community, all the different segments. You know, it's a movement. I think that we try to be visible out there. It's a very important gathering because we unite as one.
Trans March has definitely been very supportive of my career. And so last year, me and Nicole Spring Collins were able to get on stage and talk about transcend. I had been coming to Trans March for so long, and they have always asked me to get on stage, and I was like, no. But last year was the opportunity for me to get up there and really take charge and speak about transcend and flux.
Identifying as a proud trans Latina. Before, I only had access to transness that was white. And I had never actually met a trans Latina. It was through Trans March and through my queer parents, queer familia, that I was able to see that transness could be anyone. It didn't have to be just white, a white identity, but it could be for POC folks, and it could be for anyone who identifies with it.
I was newly starting to identify as trans, and also just being there and seeing all these other people living for the same purpose and just loving on themselves was pretty magical and powerful to me. I'm like the most happiest I've ever been in my life, and I think that being black and being trans has a lot to do with all of it.
The most powerful thing we can do as transgender people is continue living our lives joyously.
Last year at the Queen Culture retreat, when we went to Hawaii, there was 10 black trans women, and this was the first time that any of us had been on a vacation. And one of the days, we were there for like 6 days. It was a sponsored trip. All we had to pay was $75. And there was one of these days where the girls was just tired, and my boss, Ari Saeed, came and was like, y'all need to get up. We need to go to the beach. And we were like, to the beach? Like, girl, you want us to put on bathing suits to go to the beach? None of us had done that, but we did it. And we went to the beach, and all of us were like playing in the water and running on the sand and talking to all the other people. And it was something that none of us had did or had done where we lived, like back home. And so after then, it was like really great being there and seeing all of us. Cultivating Joy was the name of the retreat. And it was really joyous.
I love how ambiguous I am. And that's not even just a physical thing. It can be sometimes. I do get misgendered a lot. I get she, her, ma'am, him, sir. Oh, I get everything, you know. And then some people will randomly say they because they don't know what my gender is, which I love because I'm like, okay, thank you for at least acknowledging that you weren't sure and you went with a neutral pronoun, which, you know, I feel seen in those moments, you know. But just inside of me, internally, I feel so ambiguous. Just my energy, my entity, like who I am. I just feel I'm everything. And for me, that is everything.
Our mere existence is proof of a better future to come, and to remember that our greatest strength is a diversity of experience when we work towards a common future goal.
We realize it's not just about here, San Francisco is organizing another transgender event, but we're really showing the world out there that anything is possible, that in San Francisco, there is a community that's there to celebrate everything that we have achieved and also continue to voice everything that we need to voice.
We, no less than those we study, are actors in history, making choices that affect the lives of others. Valerie J. Matsumoto.